It is now 5:40, time for the officials meeting. Time for the officials meeting.
Test.
HB&M Marketing Communications, proficiency in working with today's evolving dynamic media and a synergistic understanding of business to business, consumer and healthcare marketing are just the starting points of what HB&M has to offer clients. Visit their website at hbmadv.com, located at 520 South Front Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19147. Gino Steaks, try their steak Milano, cheesesteak with fried tomatoes and oregano, open 24/7. They're located at 1219 South 9th Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'd also like to thank Grey Lodge Pub. Great beer, great food, and great people in the great Northeast. Located at 6235 Frankfort Avenue in Philadelphia. We'd also like to thank 808 Roller Skates. 808 Roller Skate is an independent skate shop owned and operated by Hijinks David Holm. 808 Roller Skate has been in business since 2010, serving local and national skaters in person and via their website. Check them out at www.808rollerskate.com. We'd also like to remind everybody that there are concessions on sale right behind the announcer booth. Got chips, snacks, candy, soda, ice cream, water, pretzels, all those sorts of things. If you're NAMI, why not get some? Also, right there, we have the merchandise table, also behind the announcer booth. Check out the merch counter from Penn Jersey Roller Derby gear, ranging from stickers to sunglasses to t-shirts. Hooligans and She-Devil merchandise is now available. Also a reminder that our after party is located and sponsored by Gunner's Run in the Schmitz Commons at 1001 North 2nd Street in Philadelphia, 19123. Got drinks and food. It's a brick wall bar with pub grub, craft beers, cocktails made with house-made infusions, and a courtyard located in the piazza. Vegetarians and vegans can accompany their meat-eating friends to this casual spot, named for their natural creek that originally bordered the neighborhood. As a reminder, Gunners Run during the after-party portion of their proceeds will benefit PJRD Derby, including the Hooligans and the She-Devils. Just about 10 minutes to game time. Between the number 10 ranked Maelstrom and number 7 Bridgetown Menace. As a reminder, or as a new thing to say, Maelstrom also has merch available over by the merch and concession stand right over here by the announcer table. Pick up some Maelstrom merch, including t-shirts and hoodies and stickers and shot glasses and all sorts of things to sate your Maelstrom needs. Another announcement, and by announcement I mean reminder, when the game time is on, it's time to use the bathrooms outside the venue. All you have to do is exit the building, and right there on that far wall, there is a porta potty. Please use those. Thank you. A little over 2 minutes left until first whistle. While we're waiting for first whistle, let's introduce our teams. First off, we got Massachusetts Men's Roller Derby, also known as Maelstrom. We got number 10, Dirty Frank. Number 109, Cilantro. Number 1337, Striker. Number 21, McClary. Number 22, Andy. Number 32, Pickering. Number 40, Mycopathic Chiller. Number 504, My Baby Daddy. Number 508, No Big Deal. Number 562, Colleran. Number 60, Brunetti. Number 7, Hasselman. Number 71, Jimmy Rage. Number 78, Rogue. Bench coaches today are Ryan Conlon and Ren Caldwell. Those are your Mass Maelstrom.
And now for the Bridgetown Menace. Number 101 is Freak Style. Number 103 is Loose Wheel. Number 12 is Tommy Gunn. Number 17 is Austin. Number 216 is Jukes Block Hero. Number 56 is Jensen. Number 33 is Scott Free. Number 357 is Demolition Man. Number 5 is El Dorado. Number 512 is Cosmo Damage. Number 69 is Don Juan the Devastate. Number 82 is Munster. Number 85 is Shreddy Mercury. And number 99 is Defensive Destroyer. Their bench coaches are Captain Obvious and Quigley. They are the Bridgetown Menace.
And we've got Shreddy Mercury and My Baby Daddy. My Baby Daddy getting lead jammer. My Baby Daddy getting 2 points and calling it.
We're having chair malfunctions up in here in the announcer's booth. Number 82 for Bridgetown the Menace is Munster, who is lead jammer. Number 22, Andy, was jamming for Mass Maelstrom. And if you're listening at home, Mass Maelstrom is in the blue, and Bridgetown the Menace, I would say that's a gray.
Next up on the line is Don Juan versus Rogue. Don Juan getting lead jammer.
Multiplayer block being called on Austin. Don Juan to Devastate gets past a couple blockers, gets 3 points.
We have a lead change. It's now 3-2.
Oh my. Our first lead change. Mycopathic Chiller for Maelstrom. Jamming against Shreddy Mercury. Shreddy Mercury was recycled to the back. Once again being recycled, run back. Mycopathic, no, that was Striker, tried to get around. Got taken off by Cosmo Damage.
Both teams boosting up the speed.
Zero points for both jammers.
If this is the tenor that we're setting for the game, it's going to be an interesting
I was thinking of the very same thing. It's Fast and Furious out on the track.
Munster and Cilantro out here.
Loose Wheel did take Cilantro off the track, but Cilantro was able to jump back on, get through the pack, become lead jammer.
Munster getting a no pass, no penalty and making his way out of the pack.
Yeah, Munster got knocked off by Pickering.
Cilantro getting his 2 points and calling that jam.
And we have our second lead change. Maelstrom has taken the lead 4-3.
This is exciting.
This actually might wake me up from my slumber between games 2 and 3.
Looks like it's My Baby Daddy and Don Juan both on the line.
Don Juan taken out off the track by Hasselman. Ran back behind before turn 4. A repeat as Don Juan is ran back once again. And there is a cut track being called on number 504, My Baby Daddy.
Which means we have a power jam for Don Juan.
And Don Juan is lead jammer.
Pack slowly gearing up.
That was number 7, Hasselman, who knocked Don Juan out of bounds. 357 Demolition Man sent to the penalty box.
On a back block. Don Juan picking up 5 more points.
Number 12, Tommy Gunn, who was a menace in the first game they played, doing damage once again, but got sent to the penalty box. Don Juan calls the jam. And Bridgetown Menace has retaken the lead at 8-4. It's going to be a lot of that happening.
That's 3 lead changes already in this game. And we're only 6 minutes in.
After 5, I'm going to start to forget and not be able to keep count. Andy jamming for Maelstrom, but Shreddy Mercury able to get through the pack and become lead jammer. Shreddy Mercury just taking out number 508, no big deal. 4 points scored by Shreddy Mercury. Bridgetown Menace putting up a little bit of a lead with 15-4.
The kind of strategic call-offs that we saw earlier today with Bridgetown.
Yes. Rogue jamming for Maelstrom. Bridgetown Menace's jammers number 5. That's El Dorado.
El Dorado being cycled back. Rogue gets lead jammer.
Nice job by Maelstrom keeping El Dorado away from the pivot. Of course, there's no pivot on the track, so.
Rowe gets his 2 points, get caught in the middle of the jam and calls it off.
Late hit called on Tommy Gunn after the jam is over.
Gotta watch out for that. Gotta watch out for that. We got Cilantro up on the line, along with Munster.
2 blockers in the penalty box for Bridgetown the Menace. Munster doing some blocking himself, just keep this jam under control and kill off those penalties. And Munster is lead jammer. As Cosmo Damage comes out of the pack, puts a hit.
Fantastic move by Cilantro on that outside line. Munster forcing his way through the end of that pack, calling it off, getting his 4 points. Mycopathic Chiller up on the line versus Shreddy Mercury.
Shreddy Mercury knocked out of bounds, being run back behind the jammer line. And Shreddy Mercury able to get through his lead jammer for Bridgetown Menace.
Jukebox Hero going out on a back block call.
Maelstrom bracing with a 4-wall now. Some sort of tripod as Shreddy Mercury does a great job jumping around the inside of the pack to get 5 points.
There's a star pass to Striker, and he takes the inside line. Gets through.
Clockwise block called on Scott Free of Bridgetown Menace.
Don Juan up on the line with My Baby Daddy. Don Juan showed a lot of power today so far. Not many things that can keep in his way.
He's got only 2 blockers to help him out as 2 are sitting in the penalty box. And it looks like Don Juan is heading there himself for a cut track.
My Baby Daddy getting lead jammer.
Oh! Landed on his feet, up, picked up 5 points.
That was one of the highest apex jumps I've ever seen.
McClary is sent to the penalty box.
Another 5 points towards that inside line. Coming back around. Slipping through that inside line, just jumping over all opposition. Another 5 points.
Nice job by Jensen coming in here, knocking my baby daddy out of bounds. Juke's block hero now sends my baby daddy out of bounds on the inside. All right, we have a timeout called by Bridgetown Menace.
Reminder that the PJRD Hooligans are playing the Bridgetown Menace tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. The doors open at 10, so be there early, get your seat, watch the game.
Yeah, Timmy Twitch and Ria Culpa will be our announcers for that game tomorrow.
Got Andy and Munster on the line for this next jam.
Andy caught up on the inside, but he's able to break away and get through the pack to become lead jammer. Munster miraculously, after getting all those hits, was able to stay in bounds. Tommy Gunn sent to the penalty box. Andy picks up 4 points and calls the jam.
Next up on the line, we got Shreddy Mercury and Rogue.
And with that jam, Maelstrom has retaken a lead at 28-27.
That's the 5th lead change so far this game.
I thought I was going to lose count after 5. It was after 4.
I like math. I'm not good at it, but I like it. Both jammers hitting their respective walls.
Shreddy Mercury making his way through the pack to become lead jammer, going against the Rogue, who's caught in the back of the pack. Defensive Destroyer sends Rogue out of bounds and puts a big hit on. Shreddy Mercury gets past Maelstrom blockers and scores 5 points. Shreddy Mercury with a total of 10 points on this jam.
Mass had a star pass to Pickering right there towards the end of that jam.
That was a 13-point jam by Shreddy Mercury, putting Bridgetown Menace back in the lead with 40-28.
All the lead changes forever. Next up, we got Mycopathic Chiller up on the line with Don Juan.
And Don Juan breaks through at the outside and is lead jammer for Bridgetown.
Don Juan just slipping through the inside of that track, getting the 5 points, and then calling it on the off lap.
Munster comes onto the track for Bridgetown Menace.
Next up on the line is Cilantro and Munster. Bridgetown with a pack advantage of 4-3. Munster taking that outside line and getting lead jammer.
Munster able to drive through the Maelstrom line to become lead jammer. Loose wheel provided some blocking for Munster to help get through the pack, giving him 5 points.
Munster just slipping to that outside line and taking another 5 points.
Munster driving through the pack, picks up 3 points. Now, Bridgetown Menace is up by 30 points, 58-28.
Really pulling away, but 30 points, as we all know, not that huge of a deficit.
And the way this game is going, Maelstrom just might retake that lead.
My Baby Daddy up on the line with Shreddy Mercury. Starting up in the front of that start area. Shreddy Mercury just powering his way through, getting lead jammer.
Bridgetown Menace applying pressure on My Baby Daddy and causes him to get a cut track. All right.
Shreddy Mercury getting 4 points. Would have been 5, but there was a no pass, no penalty at the front of the pack.
Great awareness by Shreddy Mercury to stay alert and get back on the track.
Also without missing a beat, which is usually pretty unique.
And there was a nice conversation between the referees because the outside ref actually called a cut track, but the inside ref called no point, no pass, or no penalty.
Communication is always key in situations like that.
Yes.
Don Juan starting off with a power start. Both teams' blockers at full power.
Bridgetown Menace spreading out this pack, which allowed Don Juan to get through and become lead. Don Juan able to stay in bounds, gets through for 5 points. Loose wheel drives My Baby Daddy out of bounds and runs him back.
Don Juan showing some incredible grace on the outside with a spin and picking up another 4.
Maelstrom calling a timeout. Bridgetown Menace have opened up a lead of 50 points, 78-28. Andy on the track for Maelstrom, and Munster jamming against him.
Munster getting lead jammer. Andy skirting the inside. Shreddy Mercury up on the line with Rogue.
Mass sends Shreddy Mercury out of bounds on the inside. Nice job by Shreddy Mercury, but he does get a cut track.
Part of his hop was apparently out of bounds.
A cut track also being dealt out to Loose Wheel.
Rogue having the power jam, trying to fight his way through that pack.
Mass trying to open up a lane for Rogue. But Bridgetown Menace is in the front of the pack. Knocking him out of bounds to run him back.
Shreddy Mercury back in on the action.
That was a great job by Bridgetown Menace, holding off the jammer, not allow him to run away as Shreddy Mercury was in the penalty box.
Loose Wheel chatting a little bit with Shreddy Mercury on the off lap.
Shreddy Mercury, a very patient skater. Back block called on Shreddy Mercury.
Which after So there was a star pass to Pickering, and then it became a power jam, and then it got to 2 minutes. So that means that Cilantro is going to start with a power start.
Dare I say he's going to add a little bit of spice to this jam?
You may say that. I wouldn't, but you can say it.
Bridgetown holding steady. Demolition Man doing a great job of holding Cilantro back with the help of Cosmo Damage and Tommy Gunn.
Shreddy Mercury's out of the box and getting his way through. And Shreddy Mercury goes off on a charging call, which means Cilantro is on another power jam.
Able to stay in bounds, gets through for his initial pass,
but does not get lead.
Jukes block, Hero off on a clockwise block. Striker going to the box for a clockwise block. Oh, jeez. Demolition Man going off for a high block. Shreddy Mercury back on the track, being recycled back to turn 2.
And that incredibly physical jam ends. Looks like with all of that, Maelstrom with 5, Bridgetown with 0. Mycopathic Chiller up on the line with El Dorado.
Maelstrom all got knocked down by El Dorado, but they're back up, recycled to the front, keeping El Dorado in the pack.
El Dorado being called on a cut track call. And Chiller gets lead jammer.
This will help cut into the Bridgetown Menace lead. Which I believe Maelstrom has been waiting for. Bridgetown Menace is not making it easy for them. Three points was picked up by
Maelstrom calls an official review. So it doesn't look like anything was reviewed, so maybe Mass decided to use that as a timeout.
Points haven't changed on the board as well. El Dorado driving through Maelstrom, spreading him out.
My baby daddy got stuck in the back of the pack. Mass bridging incredibly well.
And Bridgetown defending very well against my baby daddy.
El Dorado getting 5 points, coming back around.
Cut track called on my baby daddy.
Mass had another star pass to Pickering right before that jam was called.
Bridgetown Menace calling an official review. One minute and 7 seconds left in this half. Bridgetown Menace up 92 to Maelstrom's 36.
Speaking of Maelstrom, did you know that they have merch and the Hooligans have merch over here
What?
in the merchandise area?
Wow.
You know what is also in the merchandise area?
What?
Snacks and food and ice cream and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They should probably go and grab some of that stuff.
Well, don't you have to pay for it?
Duh. I don't know how to respond to that.
Does that mean I kept you from talking? Wow. I left you speechless.
I have been rendered speechless, yes. So far, a very contentious game, very physical game. Been exciting so far. There were 6 lead changes, and then Bridgetown decided to just knock it out. However, it's about what? 56 points? I'm bad at math, but that's not insurmountable by any means.
Earlier you said you liked math, so I expected you to be able to...
I said I like math. I never said I was good at it. Just like I like announcing, but I'm not very good at it.
That would be 56 points. Maybe one of the followers can tell us. If they have a calculator at home, they can tell us what kind of a lead that is.
So we got Andy and Munster out here. Munster getting lead jammer.
Oh! Good to
Nice
see
hit to
Munster
the-
got up from that. Looked like he smacked his head on the track. Must be the helmet.
Andy skirting past a couple of the blockers, but getting recycled forward.
Clockwise block given to defensive destroyer. Misconduct called on Munster.
Think it was a late hit. Not sure just yet. And that's the half. Derby Days would like to thank the officials for this particular game. Head ref Mistrial, Front Inside, Punk U, Jam Ref Scissors and Professor Murder, and OPR's Bucks and Melons, Headless Horseman, and Ref of Ison. Art ref for this game is Trickster. Our NSOs for this game are Northern Discomfort, Goldie Gloves, Down in Jersey, Northern Discomfort, Frau Blucher, Jones, Ruby Bruise Day, Ginger Shred, Beer Kitty Kitty, Lady Charmelade, Dr. Brew, and Toxic Narcotic.
HBM Marketing Communications, proficiency in working with today's evolving dynamic media and a synergistic understanding of business-to-business, consumer, and healthcare marketing are just the starting points of what HBM has to offer clients. Visit their website at hbmadv.com, located at 520 South Front Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19147. Gino Steaks. Try their steak Milano cheesesteak with fried tomatoes and oregano. Open 24/7 at 1219 South 9th Street in Philadelphia.
Also like to thank Gray Lodge Pub. Great beer, great food, and great people in the great Northwest. Located at 6235 Frankfurt Avenue, Philadelphia. Also like to thank 808 Roller Skates. 808 Roller Skate is an independent skate shop owned and operated by Hijinks David Holm. 808 Roller Skate has been in business since 2010, serving local and national skaters in person and via their website at www.808rollerskate.com.
The concession stand located behind the announcer booth between the bank track and the merch table. You can get chips, snacks, candy soda, and water, all available for sale. Pretzels and ice cream also. Check out the merch counter for Penn Jersey Roller Derby gear, ranging from stickers to sunglasses to t-shirts. Hooligans and She-Devil merchandise is now available.
And we'd also like to remind you that the after party is located at Gunner's Run in the Schmitz Commons at 1001 North 2nd Street, Philadelphia, PA 19123. Got drinks and food and craft beers, cocktails made with house-made infusions, and courtyard located in the piazza. Vegetarians and vegans can accompany their meat-eating friends to this casual spot named for the natural creek that originally bordered the neighborhood. And a reminder that if at the after party, PJRD will be getting a portion of the proceeds at the Gunner's Run.
And I would also like to thank Penn Jersey Roller Derby for putting on this spectacular event.
Let's give
I think
a
it's
hand
been
to
a
Penn Jersey.
success.
And that's us for now. We will be back in about 8 minutes. About a minute and a half left until period 2 starts. Got a clarification on that misconduct at the end of the jam there. There was some unsporting conduct towards an official. Clarified that it might have been an insubordination, but misconduct was what they went with. So fair enough. Wanted to also thank our first responders, EMTs, today for this game. We got Rosie and Nurse Ratchet, because I can't pronounce things. But they're keeping us safe out there, keeping the skaters safe out there, making sure that everybody goes home under their own power. And we appreciate them.
We also want to show the volunteers some love. Thank you for, I guess, designing this place and getting this ready for this tournament.
Thank you to certain people for web stream and all of the tech behind that.
Yes. Thank you to Rogue for setting this up. And then thank you for Still a Threat to continue it in the third game.
She's the one that makes sure that the camera angles are all proper. And by that we mean as much as she can, because it's kind of crazy today.
Yes, and normally our voices are very squeaky, but she's adjusting the levels just right.
She's making us sound beautiful, or as beautiful as humanly possible.
She said we sound like angels.
And the jam has started. And Andy gets lead jammer on that power start.
Bridgetown Menace keeping Andy in the pack. Loose wheel.
Andy getting the 5 points. Munster taking the outside line now. Getting past.
Andy like a pinball coming to the pack and getting bounced around.
And he calls it. So 2 points before he was able to call that. Ends up being a 7-0 jam for Massachusetts. Shreddy Mercury on the line with My Baby Daddy. Not my baby daddy, but that's his name, my baby daddy. And the jam starts.
Sure.
Shreddy Mercury gets lead jammer.
Tommy Gunn knocked My Baby Daddy out of bounds.
Shreddy Mercury picking up 5 points on that pass.
Hasselman sent to the penalty box. Five points, Shreddy Mercury through the pack. My Baby Daddy taken off the track by Demolition Man, and then Cosmo Damage on the inside. Cut.
My Baby Daddy getting a cut track call. It's a power jam for Shreddy Mercury.
His lead jammer. Yeah, and I said lead jammer. It's the second half. We're taking a little bit for us to get back in the rhythm. Shreddy Mercury calls off the jam. 28-point jam for Shreddy Mercury. Don Juan behind the jammer line on the power start.
Both teams with 4 blockers. We had an actual pivot start with pivots on the pivot line, which is awesome.
Maelstrom started going forward to try and slow down Don Juan, but Don Juan able to get through the pack with help from his blockers to become lead jammer.
My baby daddy back in, hitting the back of that wall.
Nice job by McClary coming out and knocking Don Juan out of bounds, taking him off his feet. There's a cut track on Pickering, who was handed the star. So now we have a power jam. Don Juan, who just called the jam.
Bridgetown opting to clear the box, clear the bench, and get a power start. Fresh in this next jam. And who will be with this power start? None other than Munster.
Munster gets taken down by Maelstrom.
Striker being sent off on a back block call.
Munster is lead jammer for Bridgetown. Menace.
Munster just plowing through the center of that wall, being able to get up and through for 5 more points.
Munster goes down, but quickly back up on his skates.
Pickering getting knocked out at the wall, with Munster picking up another 5 on that next pass.
Munster driving through Maelstrom right now, getting taken out of bounds.
Frank being sent off on a failure to reform. Striker back in, coming around.
Bridgetown Menace do an exceptional job of not allowing any points on this jam. Munster calls the jam and picked up 23 points. We have a timeout being called by Maelstrom.
That was a 23-point jam for Bridgetown, making it now 151 for Bridgetown, 43 for Massachusetts. Looks like there's some deliberation between the officials and the bench staff. And a thank you to General SoFine for making sure that that track stays nice and dry.
General SoFine.
He is. Oh, Harry, you're so fine. Yes, because that's his name. Freakstyle up on the line against Mycopathic Chiller.
Tripod in the front, slowing down Maelstrom's jammer.
Shocker being called on a track cut call. Mass now down 3-4 on the track.
Bridgetown Menace's defense has been impressive during this whole tournament.
No big deal, trying very hard to keep Freakstyle down. It's not 100% successful.
Freakstyle just leveling skaters.
Freakstyle getting his 4 points and calling it. Hard hit. Next up on the line is Shreddy Mercury and Andy. Both teams at full strength.
Not completely. There is one blocker in the penalty box for Mass.
I guess I missed somebody. What happens when you can't see the box?
Shreddy Mercury skips over the block and his lead jammer.
Andy gets called out on a cut track call, which means that Shreddy Mercury gets a power jam, putting another 5 up on the board.
Yeah, Shreddy Mercury putting a shoulder into the blockers to get through the pack.
Pickering trying for a block to the inside. Wasn't completely successful.
Maelstrom sends Shreddy Mercury out of bounds on the outside between turns 2 and 3.
Andy skirting to the inside, then to the outside, making his way through. Shreddy calling it off. Picking up 3 points. 13-0 jam for Bridgetown.
Don Juan and Rogue behind the jammer line.
The sky is lighting up, as you could probably tell on the stream. It's kind of pretty. Now, am I correct when I say that both teams are full strength?
Yes. Don Juan sent into the inside and out of bounds, colliding with Professor Murder.
Striker keeping Don Juan.
Don Juan avoids a block, goes low on a blocker without it being a low block.
Don Juan powering his way through there. Picking up his points.
Low block being called on Don Juan.
Which means Rogue has a power jam.
Rogue sent out of bounds by defensive destroyer. Rogue sent back to turn 4. Hit out of bounds by Austin. There was a yes, there was a star pass from Rogue to Striker.
Both Don Juan and Striker, who had received the star pass, getting 3 points at the end of that jam. Next up, we have Munster and My Baby Daddy up on the line.
Both jammers taken out of bounds at the same spot on the inside. Bridgetown braced at the pivot line, and Munster is through for lead.
My Baby Daddy being recycled. Knocked out by Cosmo Dabbage, coming back around.
That is 5 points on the board for Munster. Bridgetown Menace sending My Baby Daddy to the back of the pack.
Stryker getting a good hit on Munster, taking him to the outside. His teammates bringing him back.
Stryker with a huge compressing, knocking about 5 skaters out of bounds.
Brunetti chasing Munster all the way to the end of the engagement zone and then stopping.
Demolition Man coming to clear out some skaters. Munster still has to recycle behind the pivot line.
Maelstrom had another star pass to Pickering right before the end of that jam as well.
Munster with a 13-point jam.
Score now sitting at 186 Bridgetown, 46 Massachusetts. A little bit less than 17 minutes left in this period. Only 8 jams retired so far in this period.
Freak style jamming for Bridgetown Menace. Spreading out the Maelstrom and leveling blockers in his path. Destructive Destroyer lays a big hit on number 102. Is that 109? Cilantro. Destructive Destroyer going off for an elbow.
And the jam is done. We got a timeout for Maelstrom. If any of you remember, there was an event a little earlier this year called Battle of Bunker Hill. If you forgot to get merch then, Maelstrom brought some. So come on and get some. Also, pick up your Hooligans and Penn Jersey Roller Derby sheet overs stuff over here at the merch stand. We still have snacks, a little bit of pizza left, you know, pretzels and ice cream still going. So, you know, if you're getting the munchies, as I know some of you are, go ahead and grab some food.
And just want to let everybody know, if you if you were very fond of John Grasso from the Hooligans, his birthday's on Tuesday, so wish him what's the opposite of belated?
A pre-birthday
Or
wish?
premature?
You know, that's probably true.
Yeah. So you want to say happy birthday to John Grasso. It's not until Tuesday, but
It looks like there's an official review now called by Maelstrom. All right, it looks like Maelstrom was wanting an ejection on defensive destroyer for an egregious hit. It was granted by a conference of the officials. Shreddy Mercury getting out front, getting lead jammer. And Chiller making his way through. Shreddy Mercury only picking up 2 on that particular pass before calling it. Got knocked to the inside, straddled a little bit, and called it off. Next up is Andy and Don Juan being a little cordial with one another, handshakes amongst.
Yep.
Sports are fun.
Yes.
Sportsmanship is fun.
And if jammers don't talk to each other, who will?
Yeah, exactly. Well, everybody, but you know.
Andy knocked out of bounds by Bridgetown Menace.
Don Juan getting lead jammer.
Andy able to stay in bounds. Don Juan looking over his shoulder at Andy.
And Don calls it. Both teams getting 0 for that jam. Rogue up against Munster. Munster taking lead jammer.
Bridgetown Menace moving Rogue from side to side, recycling to the front of the pack, bracing and knocking Rogue around. Tommy Gunn. And Munster is being sent to the penalty box for a cut track.
Which means Rogue has the power jam.
Cut track.
I hate terms like jammer do-si-do or revolving door or whatever, but I guess that's what's happening right
Musical
now.
chairs.
Sure, let's go with that.
Hot potato.
All right, Munster coming around.
We've got a 2-minute jam.
Yes, we do.
Munster knocked out of bounds on the inside. Back on quickly.
Striker drawing Munster back just the slightest little bit. Getting through. Picking up 5 points. Which means that Bridgetown has hit the double century mark.
There has been a Star Pass 2 striker.
Striker getting through, getting 4 points for Mass.
Munster sent out of bounds, gets back on the track, trying to fight through Maelstrom. Cosmo damage. Sends Striker out of bounds on the inside. Then the jam ends. Cilantro jamming against Don Juan, the Devastate. Maelstrom sending Don Juan to either side of the track, still fighting to get through.
Don Juan just taking all the hits that he was given and just not even stopping, getting lead jammer.
He's a solid jammer.
Cilantro getting a rough hit, getting back up.
Cosmo, no, that was loose wheel, putting a big hit on Pickering.
Cilantro being called on a low block call. But he was no longer jammer.
Don Juan calls the jam.
Freakstyle's out there for the power start. Oh, wait, no.
There's Andy.
Andy was also out there. See, this is what happens when I only see half of what's going on.
Andy and Freakstyle out on the jam.
To those on the stream, I'm not that blind.
Andy gets 3 points for Maelstrom. Nice job of keeping up the speed as the jam was being called to deliver those points.
That was a shutdown jam, 3-0 for Mass. Great job. And for what it's worth, I do have a column in between me and the corner of the jam line. So that's probably my fault for not.
Shreddy Mercury jamming for Bridgetown. My Baby Daddy gets knocked out of bounds by Austin.
My Baby Daddy getting called on a track cut, meaning Shreddy Mercury gets a power jam.
And 5 points. Shreddy Mercury still delivering hits as he comes into the pack. 5 points, 10 total on this jam. It's number 32, Pickering, sending Shreddy Mercury out of bounds. Jam has been called. Bridgetown Menace with 224. Maelstrom with 53. 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this game.
Munster, having started with a power start, takes the outside line, gets lead jammer. My Baby Daddy hitting that Bridgetown line, getting knocked to the outside.
Dirty Frank and Jimmy Rage in the front of the pack holding up Munster.
There was a quick star pass to Striker right before the end of that jam, getting massed through, but Bridgetown shut it down.
Yeah. Mycopathic Chiller jamming for Mass. That's El Dorado jamming for Bridgetown. We have a official timeout. We have 5 minutes and 24 seconds left in this game.
5/6 of the period is already complete, but we've only had 16 jams. I feel like that's not many.
No, but if you've noticed, Bridgetown has been killing a lot of the time, especially when Shreddy Mercury and Munster are out there.
That's true. That is a distinct way that they've been playing all day. El Dorado and Chiller on the line. Chiller being knocked to the outside.
Tommy Gunn once again getting into the mix and sending Chiller out of bounds.
El Dorado getting lead jammer.
El Dorado taking the middle instead of going to the outside, ensuring that he does not go out of bounds and get ran back. El Dorado took a hit by 562 Colleran.
Pickering receiving another star pass and getting to the back of the pack right as the jam was called. Looks like it's Andy up there along with Freakstyle. Another handshake, another good-mannered technique. And we have pivots on the pivot line, actually touching the pivot line. Love it.
Striker puts a hit on Freakstyle. Freakstyle able to stay in bounds after spinning. Freakstyle lowering the shoulders to move Maelstrom out of his way. Picks up 5 points.
Striker receiving a star pass, getting 1 point on that, making sure that that shutdown did not end that way. It ended up being a 7-1 jam in Bridgetown's favor.
Cilantro and Don Juan behind the jammer line.
Little under 3 minutes left in this period.
Don Juan helping with the blocking, and then
Don Juan's counter blocking
yeah,
is a sight to see, and he gets lead jammer.
Back block being called on Don Juan. We have a power jam now for Cilantro, who just got taken out by Tommy Gunn. Jensen might have been in the mix with that block. Has been a star pass to Pickering. He's getting taken out of bounds. We have a back block on Cilantro. Long run back on Pickering.
What do we do in that situation? Do we mention it?
5 points on the board for Don Juan. Don Juan picks up 14 points on that jam.
It looks like Cilantro tried a star pass. Pickering was holding the star, but it was not a successful star pass, and Cilantro went to the box. An interesting jam. Looks like we got Andy and Shreddy Mercury out there on the line.
Bridgetown sends Andy out of bounds as Shreddy Mercury is working with Maelstrom. And Shreddy Mercury is through the pack, is lead. Watching the clock count down to 0. He calls the jam. We have an unofficial final. Bridgetown Menace 263, Maelstrom 54.
Say what you want for either of these teams, but after that particular game, with that point spread, Mass never stopped. There was no give up. There was no let up on their ability to play, on their forcefulness. They just kept drilling it. And whether that's a win or a loss, I think that's a win for the game.
That's sports. You should never give up, no matter how far behind you are. It's just, that's awesome.
They totally put their feelings in the bag and just kept going.
You just keep playing. Thank you for all the teams that played in this tournament today.
Let's give a round of applause for everybody that's been playing.
And after a hard-fought game, Bridgetown and Maelstrom giving each other high fives.
And hugs. And screaming at each other in solidarity. It's good times. Reminder that the after party is going to be at Gunner's Run tonight. 1001 North 2nd Street in Philadelphia. Drinks, food, vegetarian and vegan friendly options. It's amazing, and proceeds go to PJRD. Let's give a round of applause to all the teams that have been skating today. We've got Maelstrom, Bridgetown Menace,
Shenanigans.
And Shock Exchange, and the Dow Jones Average.
Yes.
The B team for Shock Exchange.
And tomorrow, Bridgetown Menace will be taking on
the Penn Jersey Hooligans.
Yes. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for coming down.
Thank you to the internet streamer people watching the internet streaming thing. All over 100 of you at some point at Spike. And then give us a couple minutes and we will announce the MVP. And we got our MVPs to award. Bridgetown's most valuable blocker is Jensen. Or yeah, I guess pictures. Okay, sorry. Didn't even notice. All right, who wants to hear some MVPs? How about that? Bridgetown's most valuable blocker is Jensen. Most valuable jammer is Munster. Maelstrom's most valuable blocker is 508, no big deal. Most valuable jammer is Mycopathic Chiller. Congratulations to the MVPs. Reminder, tomorrow, the Penn Jersey Hooligans are playing the Bridgetown Menace at 11 a.m. Doors at 10. Come early. Watch it.